Welcome back to Roundtable. My name is Abby Roberts. I'm your district executive, and here with me today is Tanya Binney, our membership chair. Before we get into membership, we're going to talk over a few announcements. First, Cub Scout Fall Fun Day, Saturday, September 21st, here at iCamp Scout Center. We have a lot of really fun activities planned for the Cub Scouts, so we hope you can join us. We're going to build and launch rockets, make ice cream in a bag, do science experiments that explode, BB guns, archery, team building games, and a lot of other things, so make sure you're signing your kids up for that. Popcorn pickup will be Tuesday, September 24th at Warehouse Services Inc. That is at 515 West Tennessee Street in Evansville. Be sure you go to West Tennessee Street. We have a lot of people who accidentally go to East Tennessee Street and they can't find us. The sale begins on Saturday, September 28th. Open Shoot Weekend at Old Ben will be Friday, October 11th and 12th. Registration will be open soon. And we have 2 adult trainings happening at Old Ben in October. October 18th is Introduction to Outdoor Leader Skills. This is a training that is required for Scoutmasters and Assistant Scoutmasters and highly encouraged for crew advisors. We also have BALOO, or Basic Adult Leader Outdoor Orientation, also happening at Old Ben. This one is on October 19th through the 20th. Every pack must have at least one BALOO trained leader to go on outdoor adventures and overnighters. And lastly, October Roundtable will be another virtual roundtable, but November will be in person at Salem United Methodist Church. And every unit needs to have a representative there to pick up their recharter packet. Make sure to comment or ask questions in the description below and leave your name and your unit number if you want credit for attending this roundtable. Now we're going to talk about the fun stuff, membership. Tanya?
Wow. First of all, you were talking about BALOO training, yes. And the first thing I always think about is, well, who are we going to send to BALOO training? So one of the things we're going to talk about today is how do we decide? How do we pick somebody? And who do you pick? And then how do you ask them to actually do that? So we're going to talk about selecting awesome adult leaders. Everybody should have some new scouts and new families that have joined. It's such an exciting time of year. But with the addition of scouts, we also need some additional leadership.
Yep.
And selecting awesome leaders, outstanding leaders, is going to be a key to retaining those new families. We talk about we don't want to just bring new families in, we want to keep them in the program. Yes. So the first thing we'll talk about is what do we look for? So do you have an idea of what a great leader would look like?
Someone who's engaged.
Oh, yeah.
Organized. Mm-hmm. Good with the kids.
Yeah. Passionate about the program.
Yes.
Somebody that sort of embodies that scout spirit.
Yes.
And I laugh a lot of times, and you've heard me say it before, I don't like other people's children, which is why I deal with adults. So I'm not a good den leader. I'm just not. Now, if you wanted me to be the pack secretary or committee chair, or I could go to the BALOO training and be that person that was at the outdoor activities because I'm taking my scout with me.
Yes.
But you don't want me to be a den leader. That's not a good fit for me. So finding that perfect fit, what works well with each personality, is critical. And somebody that actually knows their strengths and weaknesses, they're going to be somebody that will say, no, I don't want to do that. So how do we go about asking? We found that ideal candidate. So how do we go about asking them? That's another thing that we sort of struggle with, because sometimes I've seen Cub Masters or committee chairs stand up in front of a room full of parents and just say, hey, who wants to be a den leader?
Yeah.
Well,
2 crickets.
Yeah. I've not ever had a good response to that. Crickets is exactly right. The room goes completely silent and everybody looks down and doesn't even want to make eye contact because, oh no, you're going to ask me to do something. So if we take some time and we get to know those parents, the fall fun day, it's a great opportunity to watch how families how the adults in each family interacts with the kids, because they're all out there together. And if you've got somebody that's on their phone and not engaged, you might want to choose them for a social media chairman, but probably not a den leader. And if you've got someone that's yelling and screaming at the kids all the time, or they get a little crazy when they're just going wild, not a good den leader. But the person that's actually helping out jumps out and goes, here, I'll help them build a rocket, and actually takes the time and does a great job helping them build that rocket. We might want to talk to them about becoming a den leader.
Yes.
Yeah. So this is a great trial run for some of those new families. If you've got some activities between now and then, it's awesome to really observe those families and really observe those parents, how they interact with the kids, how do they interact with the other parents. A lot of people did the parent talent surveys and the family talents, so take a look at those. I know in the applications, there's a place in there that talks about previous scouting experience. If you've got a previous, an Eagle Scout, once an Eagle Scout, always an Eagle Scout. So if you've got an Eagle Scout, I think I'd find a place for them in my leadership course. Definitely. Somewhere. They may not be good for a den leader, but I bet they're going to be good at something. So take a look at some of the resources that you have. Really observe those parents. Understand that the first month and maybe 2, if you've got a new den that's formed, a cub master, a committee chair, another den leader might have to run that den for a month or 2 until you put somebody in place. And then we talked about how do we ask them? Well, if I email you,
it is so easy to ignore.
Here's the ideal situation. If you call someone or stop them in person and just talk to them about, not, hey, I want you to be a den leader, but here's what I see that would make you an outstanding den leader. And oh, by the way, this is what I'm asking you to do. So be real specific about that.
Yes.
Talk about, you set your own schedule. Awesome. I can set my own den leader schedule, my own den schedule. That's great. There's training provided. There's tons of training. There's some training coming up in our district and in our council. So watch for that and be sure and let them know, hey, that training is out there. And don't just throw them to the wolves. So,
right.
Yeah. So if I ask you to be a den leader and I say, don't worry, I'm going to help you with that. Actually back them up, help them with it. And check in on them. Check in on them in November, December. Make sure they're okay. If they're not showing up at PAC meetings or PAC events, it's kind of a red flag. We might want to have a little intervention or at least check in and make sure everything's okay. It does happen. People have a lot of things going on in the fall. They have a lot of things going on in the spring, but we just want to make sure we're got somebody that's in there and active.
Yes, remember your den leaders are the most important leaders in your PAC because they're the ones seeing the kids every single meeting. So if they're canceling meetings or if their meetings are unorganized, that could spell disaster for your PAC leader down the line.
Yeah. And parents are usually pretty good about it. If you ask them, hey, what's going on in the den? How's your scout doing? Mm-hmm. What are you thinking? They will tell you pretty quick. Well, our den leader always cancels the meeting, or I never know, they call us the day before, the day of, and try to have a den meeting. So those are some flags that maybe we need to give them a little guidance.
Yes.
But definitely be real specific about how you ask them. Be very specific. These are the things I'm going to ask you to do as a den leader. Well, the last thing I have, Abby, is what we call the cookie test. Now, I will not take credit for it. I did find it on another council's website, but I found it to be very interesting. So what they do is for potential den leaders, they ask them to bring a dozen cookies to their next committee meeting, which is a great idea. Some potential leaders we know will no show, no call, no cookies, no thank you.
Yep.
Some den leaders, potential den leaders, will show up with empty hands, no cookies, and lots of excuses. I didn't have time, work was crazy, my kids were sick, whatever. Maybe that's not the greatest person to have as a den leader. If they're not going to do what we ask them to do, that could cause a lot of problems down the road. And then there's the potential leader that shows up with 2 dozen cookies from the local bakery, napkins, and bottles of water. And that's my kind of den leader. They have gone above and beyond. They have used resources. I know I'm not a good baker. I didn't have time this week, but I went to the local bakery and bought some gourmet cookies to share with everybody. And I know that I'm going to need some napkins because cookies are messy, right? They can be a little messy. And when I have cookies, I'm thirsty, so I brought some water too. That's the den leader that goes a little above and beyond. They don't just follow the book and, yeah, we're going to get it done, but may not be outstanding. This is a den leader that's going to create an outstanding experience for our scouting families. That's what we want.
Yes, that is
That's
what it's all
what we
about.
Yeah. So that's all I had for today. Anything else you want to add, Abby?
Just to recap, make sure that when you're picking your den leaders, you're observing and trying to find the best leader for the job. Talk to them in person or over the phone. No emails, no getting up in front of a group of people and just hoping for a volunteer. And tell them not just about the position, but why you think they would be good in that position. So that's all we have for today. Leave your comments or questions in the comment section below, and we'll also link some resources for you in the description of the video. And we hope to see you next time.
Yeah. Thanks,
All right.
Abby.
Have a great day.
Bye.